These are the examples from Lesson 6.1, Applications of Right Triangles. Example 1. You are to solve the following right triangle and round the lengths of the sides to one decimal place. Alright, I guess the first thing that's going to be best to find is angle B right there, because the sum of the angles in a triangle measures 180 degrees. So the measure of angle B is going to be 180 minus 90, that's angle C, plus 54.2, this is angle A down there, and that will give us 35.8 degrees. Okay. All right, so now we know this angle right here measures 35.8 degrees. Now we have to find the missing sides. Now I'm going to find side little a first, because, well, it comes first in the alphabet. It wouldn't be any different to find side B first. All right, and we are going to have to use the parts of SOHCAHTOA. All right, now we got SO, and then CA, and then TOA. Now remember, SO, this is the sine function, and you're going to use this when you know the side opposite from an angle and the hypotenuse of a right triangle. The CA, you're going to use the cosine function when you know the side adjacent to an angle and the hypotenuse of a triangle. And then for the TOA, we're going to use the tangent function when we know the side opposite from an angle and the side adjacent to the angle. All right, so in this case, if we're considering this angle right here, 54.2 degrees, side A is opposite from it, and side B would be adjacent, and the 42 over here would be the hypotenuse. And I'm just going to label these. All right, so if I want to find side A first, which is opposite, and then the only side that has a measure that I know, this is 42, is the hypotenuse, that means we're going to use the SO part here. We're going to use the sine function. All right, so the sine with respect to my angle A, which we know is 54.2 degrees, is going to be equal to the ratio of the side across A divided by the hypotenuse, 42. And if I put this side over here over 1, I can cross multiply to solve this. So 42 times the sine of 54.2, and that is going to be equal to 1 times A, or just plain A. And then we can put this into the calculator, and remember we're rounding to one decimal place, and that's going to give me 36.1. All right. All right, and finally, we need to find side B. And again, with respect to our angle here, 54.2 degrees, side B is the adjacent side. And then the only other side we know with a number is the 42. Now, I know we just found A, but just in case we made a mistake here, it's best to use given information. All right, so the adjacent side and the hypotenuse up here, that's the CA. We're going to use the cosine function. So the cosine with respect to my angle 54.2 degrees is equal to the side adjacent to it divided by the hypotenuse. And again, if we put a 1 underneath here and cross multiply, we'll have 42 times the cosine of 54.2 and that will be equal to 1 times B, which is just B. And when we put that into the calculator, it gives me 24.6. So solving the right triangle means finding the lengths of all the sides that you don't know and finding the degrees for all the angles that you don't know. And this triangle is now solved.